Welcome to Resource for Care. Resource for Care is a resource for seniors and their adult children where we interview healthcare and wellness professionals on educational topics. And we make that available to you free on the website resource4care.com. Today we have a panel. We squeezed into our studio today to add 3 additional people because this topic is so important. We're going to be talking about creating your senior living roadmap before a crisis happens. I'm your moderator, MaryLou Nowak, and today we have Sherry Harbur with senior housing, is a senior housing and real estate expert. Lynn Doyle with Crestwind Behavioral Hospital, and Mike Hamby, and he is an auto resource specialist. And the name of your company?
Hamby Auto Concierge.
Okay, so just a plug for Mike and Denise. They have found every car that I've bought in the last, couple years, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and I appreciate it. But we're going to talk a little bit later about a special thing they do for aging population to help them navigate when a car needs to leave the family. I guess you could say it that way. So we really want to create a practical aging plan before it's an emergency. Our primary takeaway today is that families should begin creating a practical aging plan before an emergency forces rushed decisions. And these are rushed decisions under emotional pressure, really, because it usually means a family member has had a health incident, a fall, an operation, or some other type of diagnosis that make change needed. So I just want to welcome everyone and introduce. I'm going to start off with Sherry. Sherry's the author of Senior Housing Roadmap. And yay! And Sherry, actually, we're working together on 6 recordings. This is the second one of 6. Where we do what I mentioned earlier, that we're really putting a practical plan in place. And that's what Sherry's book does, but I'll let her talk more about that in a minute. So Sherry, your chapter encourages people to start thinking through what-if scenarios.
That's right. So last time we met up, we talked about chapter 1.
Yes.
So now we're up to chapter 2, and I just jumped straight to the workbook because that's where all your information is.
Yes.
But yes, this is the time you start to put together what you've got so you know where you're going.
Right.
So you're building the roadmap now.
Yeah. The rubber hits the road.
That's right. You're planning your trip. So while you can still plan it.
Right. So what are some of the biggest mistakes families make when they wait too long to plan?
Well, when they wait too long to plan, sometimes somebody other than you makes the plan for where you live and what choices you have or whatever's available right then, because you haven't told your family where you want to go, or now you're in crisis mode and it's just you have to make a decision. And what I hated on the housing side is now we have to sell a house while you're in crisis mode. It may not be the best time of the year, may not be the best market to sell in, where if you can plan it, you get a lot more equity out of it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you're in the hospital and you've got a great professional representing you and with your family in the home, but you're not there making the decision.
Exactly. You can't even choose what furniture you take with you. Right. Somebody else makes that choice.
Delegating that. Mm-hmm. So in your experience, what usually triggers the conversation about senior living?
Well, it's 2 different things. The conversation might happen if there's an emergency. I've fallen, I've broken a hip. We have to make a choice. We've been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Now we know we need to make some choices. What I love is when that conversation happens because it happened to someone else, and the children can open that topic up with their parents and they can have that discussion. This is what happened to our neighbor.
Yes.
Mom, Dad, what do you want to do if you're in this situation? Yes. What choices do you want us to make for you? Or can we make those choices today? Can we get on a waiting list today for where you might want to go so that when that time comes, we're already in the process?
Yeah. I mentioned to a few people at a meeting last Friday, I think you 2 were there, that I went and toured an independent living as a potential resident for the first time. It won't be where we go, but it was beautiful.
Absolutely.
But, you know, you learn that when you're doing what we do, that you don't wait.
Right.
And especially if you have a spouse that always participates in the decision, right? We've all been in communities, but I wouldn't make a decision for my spouse. So I think you're right to start early.
My husband and I have looked at
Have you?
communities. We have.
Wow.
He says when we're moving.
He's ready. Well, mine was very excited about what he saw. Very excited. One of the things, too, I think, that other than a physical thing that happens or a diagnosis is either financial challenges with what you're doing at the current moment. Maybe you can't afford the maintenance on your house. Or maybe caregiver burnout. Have you seen that to be the case?
I do see that, and you probably see it a lot, Lynn. You might want to talk about that for a minute, just what you kind of see with the caregiver. It takes a toll on the caregiver, and often the caregiver passes away before the one they're given care to.
100%, because, oh my goodness, caregiving is so difficult. And sometimes I think in the midst of that emotional turmoil, you almost think, I can't make another decision. I can't do anything else. And that's why it's so important that you do go visit places.
Sure.
Yeah.
Find out what you like, what you don't like, more importantly.
You're so involved in the caregiving, you don't have any energy left for the other choices.
Well, you know that. You've been there.
Right.
It's tough.
Right.
That's what you're looking at, is giving care.
Yeah. Mike, you went through that.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember with your mom.
Anything else. And that's why it's so important that you do go visit
Yeah.
places.
Right.
I'll attest to that. So what should every senior adult child include? You have like a readiness checklist in your book.
I do. The whole chapter 2 has got a lot of checklists. If I'm going to choose just one, I'm going to ask them those challenges. What are your current problems? What's your single biggest problem you're trying to solve? How soon do you expect to move? When is the best time to make a decision? The other thing in these checklists, there's your advisory team. That's really super important that you have that in place. But the other is your budget. Oftentimes people say they can't move because they can't afford to go
Right.
to these places. But if you go ahead and put your budget in,
Yes.
what you're paying today,
Right.
often you're going to find it's less expensive
Yeah.
than maintaining the home, putting that roof on, that deferred maintenance, all those
Right.
things that are happening that you get to take away. You don't
Sure.
have to deal or worry about it anymore.
Yeah. You know, you look at, well, my house is going to need a roof in 2 years, and the driveway is all buckled or whatever, you know, is
Right.
happening. Huh? Yeah, the HVAC system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which could be like $10,000, $12,000.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
More.
Yeah.
Or if you're in a condo, all of a sudden we're going to get hit with a huge assessment. We had $15,000 is not uncommon to get an assessment fee.
renovation.
Yeah.
So one thing families underestimate is how much physical stuff that they have to address, whether it be their car or their belongings. And I know, Lynn, you help people from a, I want to say a psychological standpoint, but more emotional support. Yeah. Maybe you could talk a little bit about navigating, like downsizing. Is it harder for for some people than others, or you know, what they expect? Is it harder to do that than what they think it is, or what do you find?
Well, sometimes we always attach emotional value to memories. And so we want those memories, and we want all of it. And or if we've budgeted well throughout our lives, we think, I paid a lot of money for that. I'm not letting that go. You know, that kind of thing. But the deal is, eventually we all will let some things go, whether we are downsizing or whether we make a move to a facility like you all have talked about. So it is something, your choices are, we always say your choices are to make an emotional decision or an information-based decision. Information is, I've got all this stuff.
Yes.
How much of it really means a lot to me?
Right.
And if I think that it's going to be worth more than I sell it for, does that really make a difference? But I always tell families right now, and I'm telling us in this room right now, while you have what you have, decide, does someone else need this or want this?
Sure.
Is this something that I can easily give up and it'll make me feel good about myself while doing something good for others? If I have children, What do they want? What do they
Right.
not want?
Right.
At least earmark that stuff and get them to take it if they will.
Sure.
Just get them to go ahead and take it.
The best way to declutter, give it to somebody else.
Yeah, when John and I moved almost 4 years ago now, we moved from a big house
Right.
to a tiny house, and I'm telling you, it was one of the hardest things. So
Yes.
what I did, because I needed to take care of myself emotionally,
Sure.
and I'm one of these people who say that ceramic pumpkin, I'll use that someday.
If it has a value, any value.
That will be
yeah.
something. Instead of saying, I may never use this, and if I'm just itching to get one later, I'll just buy
Right.
another one. So what I did was I said everything out. We had the opportunity, the challenge and opportunity
Right.
to live on a busy street.
Okay.
To kind of our driveway went in the corner of a not busy street. But I would just load things up. And this truly makes me sound crazy. And I promise I'm not. Not this crazy.
Well, we'll take a vote
But
later.
yeah, whatever. Not with this group. I know how they'll vote. I already know how they'll vote. I know them. But we literally sat things on the curb, and I would create a table with a lamp, with
Right.
a book, with a whatever, and people come in, and you could just tell by the look on their faces they were like, oh yeah, I'm putting this whole thing in my house, or I'm whatever. And then it didn't seem so hard for me to give it up.
You were giving it to a good home.
But we
Hopefully.
did it because we were moving.
Right.
But we need to all do it.
Sure.
I continue to look at things and say, do we really need it? I know we moved this over, but do we really need it?
Right.
But right now's the time to do it, because right now you have choices. Keep the things that are memories for you.
Right.
Take pictures of the rest and make magnets out of them. Put them
Sure.
on your refrigerator,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah, one of the things, we have a sponsor, All Things New. They do downsizing and moving and decorating when you move to your new place. She couldn't be here today, under the weather. But one of the things we talked about before was having these rotating photo albums where you can, they're excellent. So not only remembering family members, but also things, so that you can remember whatever it is you're giving up and not have to keep the item. It takes up a lot less space. A 5x7 picture frame.
And do it while you can.
Yes.
Don't do it when you're exhausted and worn out and
Right.
about to leave this earth. That's not the time
Yeah,
to do
and
it.
having to make much bigger decisions, right?
Yeah, because if you don't make it, I'm here to tell you, your children will make them, and it won't be the decision you would have liked.
Well, I think it's smart of you to ask the family members if they want something, because the other thing that Leanne from All Things New mentioned is that you think they want things. You think they want your china and your crystal bowl that your Aunt Gertrude gave you, 50 years ago. But if you ask them to pick what they want, they're not interested. So
It
and
is hard. It's hard to pick things when they're still using those things. But the other kind thing is if parents ask us as children, go ahead and take it. It takes a load off of them, because we find often the reason they waited too late to move is they didn't know what to do with their stuff.
Right.
It's the stuff that holds them back, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, everybody be kind out there and say, oh, I'd love to have that orange and purple, widget.
They just don't have the heart to take it to the donation center, but they are fine if we pick it up and we take it.
Great advice, Sherry. That's great. So another difficult but important conversation is about driving. A little bit about transportation, but mainly driving and what to do when you have, I don't know, how many pounds is a car? 3,000 pound car? I mean, it's a guess. That's a big deal, and it's a big investment for most people. So we've asked Mike Hamby to be here of Hamby Concierge, because that's what you do. You help seniors identify how much their car's worth. Maybe you can explain your process and what you do to help them.
What my wife and I do, someone calls, and usually a lot of times we'll get a referral, maybe from an attorney. Okay. We get referrals from like independent living, assisted living facilities, and we'll go out they'll call, we'll meet them at their home or office, wherever the car is, and we'll just, we'll drive the car if it's drivable. Okay. just let them know what we think about the car. Then we give them 3 values. One of the values that I like to get is a retail value. What that car would be worth if they want to sell it themselves, if they decide to get rid of it. Another one is what we call a wholesale value. What would that car bring at the auction if I were to go buy one today just like it? And if that's one of the things that we would do a lot of times is say, hey, if you don't have an avenue, if you don't have someone in the family that wants the vehicle, then we would be happy to come in and make an offer. And this offer is really based on true numbers, true auction numbers. So
there's
it's
a calculation,
because so many times people, they wait to the last minute.
Right.
And then the child takes the vehicle down to the local store where they bought it, and they go in and they lowball them.
Right.
And they don't know, and they really don't care. In a way, it's just, I need to get rid of it. It's generating some cash. And sometimes we've seen like $5,000 left on the table.
Wow.
And that's really a time.
Yeah, that's sad when they need it, right? Yeah.
But we do, like I said, and there are situations where we've actually taken a vehicle in on a consignment.
Okay.
One other thing, I won't talk too much about it, but we've actually had like an attorney where maybe there's 3 children and one of them wants mom's car and the other 2 think it's worth this number, and the one that wants it thinks it's worth a lot less.
Sure.
And so what we would do is go in and just give them a family price. Here's wholesale, retail, and a family price.
Okay.
And we've been through 2 arbitrations where both times when we gave them the family price, it was accepted and everybody was happy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a way to settle, arm wrestle over finances.
And one more thing, if someone, maybe there's a loss of life, her husband's passed away. This is a scenario that we did where she had 2 cars. The husband was always there to take care of it, so they kept a little bit older cars.
Okay.
And so I made the suggestion, why don't we take these 2 cars?
Right.
She was a little concerned. I said, well, I can take these 2.
Yeah.
And we'll get you a much newer vehicle or a new vehicle and use these 2 as a trade-in to help pay for them.
That makes sense.
And that way she has a good vehicle with the warranty.
Sure, it gives her peace of mind.
Yeah,
that's it. You don't think of those things.
And I love that you come directly to them.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't have to bring the car to you. You just come there, because they really probably don't need to be driving anyway at that point.
No, they don't. And we don't charge anything to do that. So
It's so personal.
that's kind of like giving back.
Love that.
So do you see people struggling with the independence part of it? Do you see families, do you get involved in that at all, where you see they're like, I still think I can drive, or any pushback?
There's definitely some pushback, and I do understand. My mother, poor thing, she really struggled with it. I mean, she got lost, and I was working that day, and Denise, my wife, she had to. Mom was able to describe where she was at, and then Denise was able to actually go to her and pick her up, and that was at that time we knew it was time to stop driving. It was getting lost.
Yeah. I think people tie a lot of their feeling like they are truly declining when they give up the ability to drive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when we see a lot of people come to treatment.
I see.
It is, I can't, and the first thing they'll say is, my children won't let me drive anymore. And we have to say, oh my goodness, no, that's a big loss, because there is that loss of independence.
There's definitely some mourning that goes on of losing that ability.
Well, there is. Just like with getting rid of your things. Yeah. There's always, I mean, as you age, we do walk through different levels of grief at the things that we lose.
Right.
May I say one more thing about
course.
this before I forget? I'll forget it. There's a lady named Nikki, and I can get the name of the company, and she is amazing because she really is certified to come in and tell them, hey, you have to stop driving. And so
Nikki
that takes.
Simmons. I
Yes.
actually had her on my podcast.
Oh, did you?
So
Okay.
viewers, if you want to understand the nuances about that evaluation and how to talk to your family members about it, you can go to that podcast. We had her on right here in the studio.
That does take a lot of the stress from us when
Right.
we're trying to take the car from mom or tell
Yeah,
her
that's already
you
been
can't
dealt
drive.
with.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And our family is, no, I'm not going to stop driving, or here's my keys. I don't think I'm safe
Right.
anymore. So we've seen both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I just want to take a minute and acknowledge one of our sponsors or supporters, advertisers, if you will, and that's Eagle Hollow Enterprises. Genell Holloway, she helps people navigate their insurance, especially Medicaid and Medicare. So she doesn't charge for what she does, and she is part of a lot of groups that we belong to. We completely trust her. So if you have questions about Medicaid, Medicare, supplemental coverage, or just insurance itself, you want to reach out to Genell Holloway of Eagle Hollow Enterprises. If you go to our website, resource4care.com, her name as well as a bunch of other professionals that I regularly recommend that are part of our Women in Senior Healthcare group are all listed there with how to reach them. And anybody who volunteers, either coming today or with we call it WISH group, has volunteered to answer questions if you call or email. So feel free to look that up. Well, I guess in closing, I think we want to just touch on Sherry's book a little bit more.
Okay.
And so we have a few minutes to do that. We're going to have supplemental or an additional, I guess is the right word, podcasts with different panel members.
Right.
So we have, let me see if I could do math. We had 6. This is number 2.
This is
so we
number
have
2.
4 more.
That's right, MaryLou.
Yay! I did it. 4 more, and we'll be making those known on social media. Resource for Care information on Facebook. But tell us a little more about how to get the book, and why you did write the book.
So I was telling them earlier before we started, I had an uncle pass away during COVID, and I settled the estate. So I learned a lot, and I just wanted to get the education out there. In my industry, I've had oftentimes houses could not be sold because the proper legal document was not in place. There was a power of attorney for maybe health or finances or something, but it didn't include real estate. So we're stuck. During this coma time or progressive illness, we couldn't do
Dementia.
a thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure everybody that owns a house keeps the equity they have in their home, so they can use it for either their family to inherit it, or they can use it for their care, whatever's needed.
And it's interesting, like our WISH group has 2 professionals that they don't live there. They work and manage assisted living in communities. And they'll tell you that they would prefer you to stay at home if you can. So I think your book's good not only to make choices to move, but also make choices of whether staying makes sense.
Absolutely. And some of the questions we ask in this second chapter too will help them understand, do they really need some companionship? A lot of people want to stay in their home. While it's still 2 of them, they want to be there. But when one is gone, the dynamics can change dramatically overnight.
Kicking around in an empty house can be lonely.
Yes. So
It could change. A plan to stay there forever might
Exactly.
change when one spouse leaves. Okay, so how do we get your book?
to get the book, you can go to my website, just Harbur, HARBUR.com, and there's a page on there that's just for the book. So you can order the book. It'll let me know that you want the book, and I'll send it to you. Our books are free. But there is also a QR code, so you can just download it to your phone or your iPad, and you can read it and save it, share it, whatever, with anybody
great.
too.
That's wonderful.
The workbook is same place. You can get it from the same place.
So it's a document. It comes as like a document instead of a printed book, or
The workbook is only printed.
Okay.
I do not have it in a digital
just
document.
curious. Okay. Yeah, and if you are listening to this and you forget Shuri's website. You can always go to resourceforcare.com. Shuri's email's there, or you can just click on a question to me, and I'll connect you. So we'll get that to you. Anything else anybody wants to add? Last thoughts?
Well, I just think everything we're talking about is a physical decision and an emotional decision, and you got to go ahead and do that.
Right.
You just do. Yeah. If you want your life to turn out the way that you want it to in the end, you have to prepare for the end, and I think that's what we're all saying.
Well, I mean, I think that's true about anything. Our life is the end result of all the little decisions we make every day.
Absolutely.
So this is a big one. Where you're going to live, what you're going to do with your possessions, your car, who you're going to have in your life, and what that looks like. So plan ahead, I guess, is the answer.
That's right.
Thanks for being here today.